Welcome, everyone. Yes, so today we're going to be covering the mobile solutions available within the ArcGIS platform, and I'm going to be concentrating on Collector, Navigator, Survey 123, and Navigator for Workforce for ArcGIS. So without further ado, let's meet Rose. Rose works for a property management company here in Perth. She works in the assets team and is a regular user of GIS. She's been tasked with updating their property inventory data set, and to do that she has to do numerous site visits, most of which she hasn't been to before. So she's hoping that Esri have a solution to fit her needs. She's looking for something that's map-centric, so she can see her data in the context of other. She can edit existing data and gather new records. She wants to work with points, lines, and polygons. She needs the ability to be able to work online and offline because the 3G connectivity isn't reliable. She wants to add photographs to her collection as well to show evidence of what she's found out in the field. And she wants to use her own smartphone, which she's comfortable with. So Collector for ArcGIS fits Rose's needs and has all of this functionality. It's available as part of your ArcGIS Online account or with Portal for ArcGIS and can be deployed on Android, iOS, and Windows. So let's see how quick we can get Rose up and running with a map on Collector. So here we are within ArcGIS Online for this environment. We're going to use an existing data set that they already have for property inventory. I'm going to keep the symbology. The pop-ups have already been configured with the relevant information and images and attachments. I've also enabled a refresh interval on it, so the data is constantly being refreshed and users can see an up-to-date view of the data. I'll change the base map to use one that's a little bit more relevant for this area. So this is the OS Open Data base map. And I can also add in data from various other sources. So from the Perth and Kinross Open Data site, I can use the Scottish Vacant and Derelict Land Survey from 2015 to help Rose give more context out in the field with her data. So this layer needs a little bit more work. I'm going to reorder it, change the symbology, and configure the pop-ups. Now users can easily distinguish between the layers and pull back the relevant information for them. Save the map with some detailed information. And share it with the group within online that members of my organization are also part of. Okay, so let's move to Collector and see how this works. Just here. Okay. So I'm in the Scottish Conference group that we had created, and now that map that I've just created within ArcGIS Online appears. So the map is very interactive. You can pan, you can zoom. It has additional functionalities like the ability to turn on and off layers, search for locations, and measure area and length. We can interact with the features on the map as well, pull back the exact same pop-up configuration, the images, and any attachments that come with it as well. So let's start adding some data for a new property that Rose has for our organization. So I can zoom to an area of interest and simply tap on the map to start adding the vertices. You can then be really exact about where you add your vertices, which means working on small screens isn't a problem. Now, once I'm happy with the shape on the map, I can start adding in the attributes. Collector for ArcGIS can work with free text. and with choice lists. If you're familiar with working with ArcMap, these are based on the domains that you might set up for a layer. Having the ability to add choice lists like that means that your data quality can remain high, and it makes it easier for end users if they're constantly having to add brand new data. Okay, and then the last step is to add an attachment. So you have evidence of what you've actually collected out in the field. So if everyone wants to smile. Okay, we're happy with that, and we can submit those changes back up into ArcGIS Online. This is what happens with live demos. Okay, we'll try disconnecting and reconnecting. Okay, while that's reconnecting, I can move back into ArcGIS Online and see that feature that we just collected appear in the map. We can see all the information come through, like the attributes and the attachment that we just took. So you see how quick and easy it is to get Collector up and running and get those users out into the field collecting data. The flexibility of Collector means that you can make sure your data is up to date rather than being out of date. So Rose is really happy with what we've just done for her, but of course she wants more. She wants the ability to be able to get directions to these sites because she hasn't been before. She wants to be able to navigate to these sites so she can drive as well as take the directions. And she needs the ability to work online and offline. So Navigator for ArcGIS meets these needs and has this functionality. We also have the ability, with a little bit of customization, to do multi-stop optimized routing to lots of features within your layers. Navigator is available with Portal and ArcGIS Online, but with an annual subscription. So let's have a look at it in action. And we're back. So Navigator gives the ability to download base map and routing for the whole of the UK onto your device and many other regions in the world. The base map and routing for the whole of the UK is about 3.2 gigabyte, so it's not actually that big. Okay, while that's loading, I'll pop back into Collector. And find a feature I want to connect to, or route to. So when you find your feature in Collector, you can click on the button and get directions to here. This moves over to the Navigator app, opens up the map, and gets the directions for you. Okay. And I also mentioned that it works offline, so if I quickly go into flight mode and then start the navigation, it will do voice navigation for you.
Starting route to feature. Go northeast on Mill Street toward Castle Gable.
Thank you. Excellent. So you can see that staying within the Esri environment means that you can be really flexible and get to those features really quickly. And then you can just pop back to Collector. Okay, so let's meet somebody new. This is John. John works for the same property inventory or property management company as Rose. He hasn't touched GIS before, but he's heard a lot of good things from Rose. He works in the facilities team, and they're looking to start a new project to perform lots of accessibility surveys on properties within Perth. He's looking for something that's form-centric and easy to use. They're collecting brand new data out in the field. Their points are detailed enough for what they want to collect. They do require the online and offline capability as well. They need to be able to collect photographs as evidence of what they've collected in the field. And because they have a small budget, they want to use devices that workers already have. So, Survey 123 meets John's needs and has all of this functionality. It's available again with ArcGIS Online and Portal for ArcGIS, and available on Android, iOS, and Windows. So let's see how quick it is to set this up. Survey 123 surveys are created in a desktop app called Survey 123 Connect for ArcGIS. So we can give our new survey a name. And there are lots of templates available, so you're not starting from scratch, and it can give you all of the features available for you to work with. So we're going to choose the advanced one and create the survey. While it's preparing, it'll open up Excel, and this is where you start creating the questions and building up your survey. So working in this familiar environment means that you can get up to speed and master Survey 123 really quickly. Each line in Excel represents a brand new question in Survey 123, and questions can be of type text, number, integer, date, images, lots of things like that. So let's start. The first question that John might have is, what is the property name? That is, an answer to that would be a text question. So we choose that as the type. The name is the short, snappy name that's going to be held in the database in the background. And then the label is what appears for the end user as the nice-looking question. The next question might be, when was this survey taken? That is a date answer, so we choose that as the type. Give it the short, snappy name. And when I can't do spelling mistakes. Okay, so we'll save the Excel file and pop back into the desktop app, and it brings in through those changes so you can easily preview the survey as you build it. So another question you might have, what is the property type? Again, the answer to this would be text, so type text. But to make things easier for the user, we're going to give them a list to choose an answer from. So this time we're going to use select one. Add in the name. So we're going to then define this list to give the answers to the end user. We're going to give the list a name. So this could be type for the list name, and then we start building up the choices that they can have. If you're familiar with using desktop, name and label would be like code and description in a domain. So we're finished with our list, and then we pop back into the survey sheet and we tell it to look at this list we've created. Something that's available within Survey 123 that you mightn't find in a collector is the option to allow end users specify a different type or something else that isn't in the list, and we can do that by using or other. Okay. Quickly save and pop back to Survey 123 Connect. We can see the updated question where they can choose one property type or specify their other. We can add in an image. And this allows users to take photographs in the survey. And images appear as attachments to a feature service. In the interest of time, I'm going to copy and paste in a few more questions that I already had pre-prepared. And these hold more text questions, more select questions, so yes or no to other questions, and we've got a geopoint. So this allows the end user to place a dot on the map for where they've taken the survey. You may have noticed some other columns available at the side. These allow you to refine your survey and customize it even more. So hints are available to allow you to expand upon a question that already exists. So for example, steps to resolve, you might put in a hint and say, please be thorough. The constraint field, this allows you to restrict the answers that an end user could enter. For example, if it's for an integer, you could say you're only allowed to enter a number between 0 and 100. For this example, I said a reinspection date has to be greater than today. So they can't choose the date in the past, it has to be in the future. With that, you can add in a constraint message. Required means that this question has to be answered before it can be submitted. Appearance, this allows you to choose how the survey question looks. So for property type, instead of all the answers being listed down, you can have them appear as minimal, which will be a drop-down menu. Default, you can pre-configure the survey to have answers already pre-populated. So for example, when was the survey taken, I want it to always be today as default, so it'll always have today, the 4th. It'll always open on the 4th if you started the survey today, which is saving steps for those end users. And the last field I want to look at is relevant. So this allows you to show questions if a certain answer is given to a previous question, or hide other questions if another answer is given. So for this example, inspection pass, if the answer to this was no, the inspection didn't pass, these two questions would then appear and the end user has to then answer those. So you can really build up your survey the way that you want it to look. So I'll quickly save that and pop into Survey123 Connect, and we'll show you the updated final survey. So there we have the required symbol. The date has come in as today. The property type is now in a drop-down list. And if I try and submit a date that was before today, it'll send me back an error message, and I have to go back and specify a date in the future. So before I publish the survey to ArcGIS Online, I'm going to do a little bit more customization. I can give the survey a logo, change the style so it's not all green, and specify the default base map that I want users to use, and the home extent. Happy with that, so I'm going to click Publish, and that will move up into ArcGIS Online, create a feature service for the answers to be wrote to, and the survey form as an item in my content. So let's pop into Survey123 and find that survey and complete it. So we're going to download the survey. It's at the top of the list. This moves it onto the device. It means that I can work with it immediately, online or offline. Open it up and start the collection. So let's do an accessibility survey of where we are right now. Date is today. Commercial. I won't take a photograph of. Actually, I'll take it this side of the room. We could fill in the address, which is allowing you the free text. And we can start answering those yes/no questions. You can choose if it passes inspection. I say it doesn't. And I wanted this field to be a multi-line field, so you could put in as much information as you wanted and you weren't restricted to a little cell. Reinspection date in the future, and then I can choose a location on the map. If this was 3G and I was using it outside, you can use your own location. Obviously, that's not going to work inside. And then I can place the dot on the map where I want it. Happy with that? I'm connected at the minute, so I can submit the survey now. If I wasn't connected, I can choose to send later. It'll appear in my outbox. And once I've finished all my surveys and come back into connectivity, I can send them all back up to ArcGIS Online. So let's check out to see if this has worked. And there we go, the point has appeared on for concert hall. We've got all the attribute information that we filled in and the image that I took of our lovely audience. So you can see that Survey 123 was very quick to create, very quick to publish, and very quick to actually do on the phone. And that was minutes. Minutes could get you up and running with a brand new project out in the field. And it's very easy for non-GIS users to use and experts in GIS. So John's back. John loved what we've done, of course, but he also wants more. He wants the ability to be able to assign tasks to users out in the field. He wants to check on their status. He wants to track them, and not in a Big Brother style, just health and safety, and also communicate with them during the day. So Workforce for ArcGIS meets these needs and has this functionality. So Richard already went through this morning, so I'm not going to start a project from scratch, but I'm going to extend upon what Richard already would have shown this morning. Okay, so we have our assignment types specified. I have my users defined. But in the advanced section, this is where you can add a little bit more app integration. So Workforce can be integrated with Navigator, which we've already seen. We can integrate it with Collector, and we can use that map that we've just created this morning. And we can integrate it with the Survey 123 survey that we've just done, which I have to share. So the survey that I've just created this morning, I have to share it with the group that was created for Workforce. Now if I refresh, it should appear. And there we go. Okay. So now we'll open up the project and start assigning some work. Okay, I'm going to do an initial site of a survey, or initial survey of a site. Choose the location. I'm going to assign it to myself. Low priority. Has to be done by today and this afternoon. So that's the assignment created, and now I'm going to move to Workforce on the device and continue my work. Okay, so let's open up the project that I'm part of, the accessibility project. The assignment that I have has appeared as well. And just like Alice did out in the field, I can accept that I'm going to do this assignment, and then also write back notes to my dispatcher. From Workforce, you can then open up another app from Esri. So we're going to survey at this assignment. That moves to the Survey 123 app, opens up the accessibility survey, and from what we will see, the location will be specified at the exact point that we specified in Workforce. So you're making sure everything's connected and saving another step for the end user. So I'll just quickly add some details in and submit that survey. Once we're done, we can pop back to Workforce and finish that assignment. So now we see that that assignment has been completed, and if we wanted to check out where I am, I should be right inside the Perth Concert Hall. So I've shown quite a bit today in not too much detail, but hopefully giving you a flavour of what you can do incredibly quickly. So we've had a look at Collector, how it can integrate with Navigator. I've had a look at Survey 123, how it can integrate with Workforce. But one last step, we haven't looked at how Collector can integrate with Survey 123. So this is possible by using something called a custom URL. The custom URL makes a call, and in this instance, it connects a Collector feature to a Survey 123 survey. So from earlier, we've created the Survey 123 form, so I'm just going to go get the ID of that form. So it knows exactly what for our survey to open up. And then we're matching the fields. So the property name from our Collector service is matched to the property name in our Survey 123 survey, and the same with property type, property address, and telephone number. So I'll take that URL, I'll go back to our map, and edit the pop-up of the property inventory layer. Save that. Now, back to Collector. I'll open up the web map that we created earlier on and just edited right now. Find our property, which in this instance is Premier Inn, and you'll see that it's hyperlinked to the accessibility survey. I can tap on that. It should move to the Survey 123 survey, open up the accessibility survey, and pre-populate the answers for property name, property type, telephone number, and address. And there we go. So that's saving even more steps for those end users and having a connection between lots of different layers. Okay, so thank you. I hope I've shown you quite a bit today. We're going to have some questions now if you have any. If you want to come up to me and find me later on, let me know.